The year was 2147 when humanity first made contact with extraterrestrial life. It wasn't through grand ceremonies or peaceful exchanges, as centuries of science fiction had imagined. Instead, it came in the form of a brutal attack, a fleet of alien warships descending upon Earth's orbit like vultures circling prey. They called themselves the Krylos Dominion, an empire that spanned dozens of star systems and enslaved countless species under their iron rule. Earth stood no chance. Its fledgling space program, barely decades old, was laughable compared to the advanced technology of the Krylos. Their ships were sleek and impenetrable, their weapons capable of obliterating entire cities with pinpoint accuracy. Humanity scrambled to mount a defense, but the result was inevitable. Within hours, major cities lay in ruins and billions perished. The United Earth Council surrendered unconditionally, signing a treaty that reduced Earth to little more than a resource colony for the Dominion. For 3 decades, humanity endured oppression unlike anything it had ever known. Entire populations were forced into labor camps to mine rare minerals and construct orbital shipyards for the Krylos fleet. Resistance movements sprang up across the globe, but they were quickly crushed by overwhelming force. The Krylos viewed humans as primitive insects, weak, disorganized, and unworthy of respect. But there was one thing the Krylos underestimated: human ingenuity. Deep beneath the surface of Antarctica, a secret facility known as Project Aegis operated in silence. Built during the early days of the invasion, it housed some of Earth's brightest minds, scientists, engineers, and strategists who refused to accept defeat. With limited resources and constant fear of discovery, they worked tirelessly to reverse engineer, captured Krylos technology. Every scrap of debris from downed enemy ships was meticulously studied, every line of alien code dissected. Slowly but surely, humanity began closing the technological gap. It was here that Dr. Elena Voss, a brilliant physicist and former astrophysics professor, developed what would become Earth's greatest weapon, the quantum singularity drive. Unlike traditional propulsion systems, this revolutionary engine harnessed the power of artificially created black holes to propel ships at speeds far beyond anything the Krylos could achieve. More importantly, it allowed for instantaneous jumps across vast distances, rendering conventional hyperspace routes obsolete. When the first prototype vessel, the Erebus, emerged from its subterranean hangar, it marked the beginning of a new era for humanity. Armed with cutting-edge weaponry derived from stolen Krylos designs and powered by the Singularity Drive, the Erebus represented hope, a glimmer of light in humanity's darkest hour. The turning point came on a fateful day. In 2179, a routine mining operation in the asteroid belt was interrupted by a surprise raid from the Krylos. What the invaders didn't know was that the operation was a trap, orchestrated by the leaders of Project Aegis. As the Krylos fleet closed in, the Erebus decloaked, its sleek hull shimmering with energy shields far superior to anything the enemy possessed. What followed was a massacre, not of humans but of the Krylos. The Erebus unleashed torrents of plasma fire, each shot tearing through multiple enemy ships before they could even react. When reinforcements arrived, the Erebus simply disappeared, jumping to another location and striking again. By the time the battle ended, the Krylos fleet was annihilated, and word of the ghost ship spread like wildfire throughout the galaxy. News of the victory reached Earth via encrypted transmissions. For the first time in decades, people dared to believe that freedom might be possible. The United Earth Council officially declared war against the Krylos Dominion, announcing the formation of the Terran Defense Fleet. Dozens of ships were constructed in secret facilities around the solar system, all equipped with quantum singularity drives and armed to the teeth. Over the next 5 years, humanity waged a relentless campaign against the Krylos. Led by Admiral Marcus Kane, a grizzled veteran of the initial invasion, the Terran Defense Fleet adopted unconventional tactics that caught the Dominion off guard. Rather than engaging in head-on battles, they struck key supply lines, destroyed communication hubs, and liberated enslaved species one world at a time. The liberation of the Zyran homeworld was particularly significant. The Zyrans, a reptilian race renowned for their combat prowess, had been subjugated by the Krylos for centuries. When Earth forces freed them, the Zyrans pledged their allegiance to humanity, offering not only their warriors, but also their knowledge of Dominion weaknesses. This alliance marked the beginning of a coalition that would grow to include dozens of other species, all united under the banner of the Terran Alliance. As Earth's influence expanded, so too did its reputation. Stories of the Terran ghosts spread among the stars, legends of ships appearing out of nowhere, delivering swift justice to oppressors, then vanishing without a trace. The Krylos, once feared across the galaxy, found themselves retreating before an enemy they couldn't comprehend. By 2185, the tide had turned decisively in humanity's favor. The final battle took place above the Krylos capital world, a heavily fortified planet surrounded by layers of defensive satellites and orbital cannons. The Terran Defense Fleet, now numbering in the thousands, launched a coordinated assault that overwhelmed the Dominion's defenses. At the heart of the fleet stood the Erebus, now upgraded with experimental weaponry capable of collapsing entire planetary shields. When the dust settled, the Krylos Emperor himself surrendered, kneeling before Admiral Kane aboard the Erebus. The terms were simple: unconditional surrender, the dismantling of the Dominion, and reparations to every species they had enslaved. For the first time in millennia, the Krylos bowed to another power. In the aftermath of the war, Earth emerged as the dominant force in known space. The Terran Alliance became a beacon of hope for oppressed civilizations, offering protection and aid to those in need. Under humanity's leadership, the galaxy entered a new age of prosperity and cooperation. Yet, despite their newfound status, humanity never forgot where they came from. The scars of the Krylos occupation served as a reminder of their resilience and determination. And though they were now feared across the stars, they chose to wield their power wisely, ensuring that no species would ever suffer as they once had. Earth's journey from Galactic Newcomer to the most feared military force in known space was complete. But as Admiral Kane often said, power is meaningless unless tempered by compassion. And so humanity continued forward, not as conquerors, but as guardians of the galaxy.